My name is Stefan Taylor, and I will be repeating some of the points that were just stated. My opponent made the case that because there are other tests out there besides the SAT, there's not too much weight that should be put into it, but he mentioned the MDPT and the ELM. Those are tests that you take after you got accepted into the school. We're dealing with admissions right now. We're dealing with the SAT, which is a test that determines what school you will be able to get into. And that's what we're discussing here today. Princeton Review is quoted saying, "Your SAT score is a pivotal component of your college applications. That is why when you prepare with us, we guarantee that you'll get a higher score or we will refund your money." Going into the low-income students, the point I'm trying to make is that many minorities and low-income students can't afford to take these expensive courses. That Princeton Review's course is over $1,000. And not too long ago, they guaranteed a jump of 100 to 200 points in your SAT score by taking the course. Recently, they had to go back on that, but however, they do guarantee an increase on your SAT score. And this is definitely biased when it comes to allowing low-income students to have a level playing field, like my opponent tried to make. It is not a level playing field when someone gets to start the race ahead of you. Going to the point that the SAT is a good predictor of college performance. According to a case against the SAT by James Cruz and David Trim, SAT scores alone cannot predict the first-year GPA, which College Board is the point that College Board likes to make. The point they do make is that SAT scores used in conjunction with high school GPA are accurate indicators of first-year GPA. However, studies done by College Board itself and the utility of the SAT and SAT-2 show that high school GPA is the best indicator of your first year of college GPA. The added information that the SAT gives to the high school GPA in calculating your first year GPA is negligible. Discussing the point that my opponent brought up when he stated that there was a study done, and when increasing the cutoff for SAT scores, you saw an increase in graduation rates. With this, there is no problem. The problem behind it, however, is just because there's an increase in SAT scores doesn't mean there's not other factors that are playing into that. He did not mention that, did these people take this course that could enhance their scores? What other factors played into that? He told you, the audience, that an increased SAT score or a narrower pool of applicants that this college took in allowed for it to graduate more people. Going back to my point about minority students, law professor Lonnie Guinier co-authored a California Law Review article last year, arguing that because she is quoted saying, "Standardized tests don't anticipate success in school very well. Admissions officers should pay less attention to them." At that point, I mean, that right there is an indicator of how many people in the educational field feel about the SAT. Bob Schaefer, public education director of the National Center of Fair and Open Testing, is quoted saying, "When students with strong high school records are admitted in place of those with top ACT or SAT scores, there is no negative impact on undergraduate performance." What we're saying, what we're proposing here is to have, like we said before, a level playing field. The SAT does not provide a level playing field. Grades, essays, personal interviews, stuff of that matter, give a better indicator of how that student will deal with the pressures of the academic rigors of that particular institution. The SAT hopes to have a one-size-fits-all policy, and that just doesn't work when it comes to college admissions. And there is proof of that. Thomas Epstein, professor at Princeton, who did a study on this, says the results show unambiguously that increased racial and socioeconomic diversity can be achieved by switching the test to optional policies, and even more so by abolishing it altogether. Thank you.